My first $1 million I made when I was 19 years old.
Wow. You made $1 million at 19?
Yeah. And then I launched my course. I made $740,000 within 6 days. I'm literally living like James Bond in real life. I drive supercars. I date hot chicks. I shoot guns. If someone kills your dream, it's because you don't dream big enough. Your information will determine your destination. I knew I wasn't in the right environment, but I consumed the information that will get me to the right environment. There are things that are created to systemize poverty. There's a reason that some people are taught that the only way to make money is to go to school, get a degree, get a job, and retire.
Which is not true.
Exactly. And then there are people who understand that for you to be wealthy, you just need to. There was a guy who made $1 million in a day selling flashlights.
What? Really?
Yeah, I saw that and I was just like, yeah, this is it.
You made $1 million before you realized that there's a credit you could have used.
I made over $150 million before I knew anything called credit existed.
What?
If you don't believe in me, it's fine. I've always believed in myself. I had friends that were just like, man, it's not possible. And now they're like, what the f? If you want to hide information from an African man, hide it in
the book. That's so true.
Most people don't read after school. And a man who doesn't read, a man who doesn't self-educate is going to perish. In the beginning, I used to be a lone wolf. I got to know that you can't do everything alone. If you learn how to build the right relationships, you will go very far in life. If you have the mindset of life is against you and you do nothing, everything would happen against you. I never saw myself as a victim. I always saw myself as, I don't care whatever happens, I'm going to always figure it out.
Hello guys, and welcome back again to another amazing episode. And this is quite different from what we usually do, but it's new segment where we do have dialogues, conversation with multi-millionaires about how they first made their $1 million, their journey, their background, what changed in their trajectory, upbringing that made them, the person they are now. And we're going all around the world, but today we are doing it virtually with someone very important, special. He's a multi-millionaire. He went from $42 to making over $100 million after he sold his business. And listen, I'm very excited for this conversation. And if it's something you're interested, I want you to stay tuned and enjoy this with me. So without further adu, Abdul-qawiyy, welcome on the show.
Hey, it's nice to be here. It's a pleasure. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing amazing. Where we are currently filming is called Gendu Place. Gendu Place is a co-working space located in East Legon, very close to American House. If you're moving from the diaspora, coming from the UK, US, you want somewhere to work with a high-speed internet and also electricity. They have a solar system for the electric, so it never goes out. And if you know one thing about Ghana, we have Doomsaw, which is literally the electric grid going off and on. When you are working here, you don't go through that. So I think it's a good place for you to come check out, come work out. If you're coming, tell them you're coming from Webnation Africa, you might get a discount. So yeah, thank me later. I introduce you to the audience briefly. People watching you for the first time, they might not know who you are, your story. Briefly introduce yourself to the people watching you for the first time.
Well, hey, what's up, everyone? My name is abdul-qawiyy. I am a 26-year-old Nigerian, born and raised in Nigeria, but currently based in Dubai. I built and sold 2 companies for $128 million, did $96 million in 2023, and the plan is to do $150 million in 2024, God willing. I love fast cars. I love to read. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and right now I'm documenting how I'm building my luxury watch company to $100 million. So yeah, I create content on IG, create content here on YouTube, and that's it. Tap with the boy.
This is amazing. I see how you are laid back and you are saying it very casually, but these are big numbers. Let's speak about how it all started for you. I researched about your story a bit. I realized one point you were making shoe as a shoemaker, like we would call it locally, a shoemaker, into being able to build. You went from shoemaking into becoming a freelancer, and then to building what you've built now.
Yeah.
How did it start for you? People might not have seen that video, but let's touch base again on how that started, your journey, upbringing in Nigeria.
Oh, well, so I come from regular Nigerian households. Actually, lower than regular. My parents are teachers. My dad is a university lecturer. My mom, bless her soul, she was a teacher. And I saw the life they lived and was just like, nah, I don't want this kind of life for myself. And as a result, I felt like there had to be a different way. So thankfully, I had read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And when I saw that book, I was like, damn, my dad is smart, but he's not rich. And I don't want to be the smart guy that doesn't have money. And as a result, I just went all in. I mean, I had been reading books, so that was the first point for me. And then the next point for me was after I read the book, I saw a young guy driving a Lamborghini. Funny how I drive Lamborghinis now.
Yeah.
I saw the guy on YouTube and it was talking about how to make money online. And I was like, you know what, I might as well try this thing. If it works, fine. If it doesn't, I learned my lesson. Unlike most people now, they see someone who's selling a course and they're like, oh, it's a scam. But I felt like the biggest scam is not having access to the right information, right? Since I already knew I didn't want the kind of life that comes with the traditional route, which is go to school, get a degree, get a job and get married and die. So when I saw him, he's young, that's like, whoa, my dad is not rich, he's old, and he doesn't even have the lifestyle that I wanted. So when I saw someone who was younger, who had the life that I wanted, I might as well listen to him. And so I gave my cousin the money because we call something kolo in Nigeria. It's like a piggy bank where you keep your money. So I gave her my money and I sent to our Western Union. Then she paid for the course. That was all of my savings, by the way. And yeah, that was how it started. But I knew I still had to do something on the side. And that was where, making shoes. I have a big foot. I wear size 46, 47, which is big, size 13, size 13.5 US. And I mean, my parents had divorced when I was young, so I can't put the burden on my mom. So I just had to, learn something, add a skill set to make shoes for myself. It's funny that I started out making shoes for myself, but people started getting interested in it and they wanted to make shoes for themselves. So yeah, that's how it became a side hustle. But I started out making shoes just because I wanted to make shoes for myself because I barely see my own shoe size. And that's how it started.
Wow. Now, with that, I mean, look at where you grew up as in the environment, right? And as Nigeria, growing up in a less, I mean, your parents were not making that much money, right? But then you seem, because I watched some previous videos of yourself 10 years ago, and you were still very like high tuned, almost like you knew your future. You had a different and unique mindset that is mostly, it's not common, talking about investing in yourself, building in yourself. What kind of gave you that to be able to think like how you were thinking?
So it all boils down to, I say like your information will determine your destination, right? The fact that I wasn't born into a wealthy family didn't mean that I knew I wasn't in the right environment, but I consumed the information that will get me to the right environment, right? Like, I remember when I was very, very young, I've always read, like, I read books a lot, but I started consuming videos by Les Brown. I would watch videos on YouTube by Brian Tracy. The people that I was listening to were people who kind of realigned my brain, the way I think. So I always saw myself like, okay, I might be a product of this environment, but I don't have to stay in this environment, right? Like, also when I was growing up, I was watching James Bond, and I loved the character. Like, even now, it's crazy. I look at most of what I do, and I'm like, I'm literally living like James Bond in real life. I drive supercars.
James Bond. For sure, with that supercars.
Yeah, I drive supercars. I date hot chicks, and I shoot guns. I basically live like a movie character. And yeah, it's just the things that I enjoy, right? So when I was growing up, I didn't see myself being in on this track for long, right? Even though I wasn't in a wealthy place physically, but mentally I was there. And so I remember, yeah, I made a video when I was young. I was like, I'm going to be ultra successful. And it's crazy. But yeah, we are today. You need to see it in your mind for you to see it physically.
Yeah, I agree. How do friends react to that? Because most of the time, our friends will be the ones who tell us, come on, be realistic. You are delusional. How did you maneuver your way through that? Living in Nigeria and then see your future and saying that, listen, I'm going to be this guy. And then your friends telling you the opposite of that. How did you maneuver your way through that?
Well, one of my most viral videos till date was where I was saying it. I made the video while I sat down in the lounge while I was awaiting admission into the university. Because I cleared my papers all at once. And one of my friends was like, just get out of here. Like, I posted it. So the thing with me is, when I want something, I'll say it and then I'll post it. Like, there's a tweet I made 5 years ago that within the next 5 years, my name will be known around the world and shit like that. And people laugh. Like, people laugh whenever I push stuff like that. But in my head, it's like, yeah, no one owes you to support you when they haven't seen that dream materialize.
Exactly.
Like, the people who were laughing at me back then were laughing because they couldn't see it. And the truth is, there's a reason it is a dream for you, right? It's a dream for you, but they can't see it. So it's like nightmares. If I'm telling you, let me just give you an instance. In the Bible, right? When Joseph was telling his brothers that he's going to become, the governor of Egypt, he's going to be this, he's going to be that, there were two reactions. First, they laughed at him, and then they got jealous of him, right? And the only reason that happened is because they could not believe that this young kid will be the one that will end up being in this place, right? Same way when I was saying it back then, I had friends that were just like, man, it's not possible, you can't. And now they're like, what the fuck, you've actually done it, right? So it's the same way. Yeah, like, even my dad didn't believe in it because it was like...
Really?
Yeah, my dad was like, I remember vividly, there was a point, the only person that believed in anything that I say was my mom, right? And that's why when she died, it really, really pained me because my mom will always believe in anything I say. My mom, matter of fact, my mom will say that if you want something, say it out loud and work towards it, right? So when I was younger, yeah, I had friends who laughed at it. Funny enough, I still have some friends that have known me since I was young, right? There are people that I've known since I was young that we don't talk anymore. And then there are people that I've known since I was young and they're just like, wow. When I traveled to, when I visited Nigeria after being out for a period of time, it was one of my childhood friends that came to pick me at the airport.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like, people don't owe you shit. People don't have to believe in you. You prove to people. Yeah, it's when you prove to people that makes them go, oh, wow.
But I think people have been able to share their dreams to other friends, and the friends killed that dream.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, if someone kills your dream, it's because you don't dream big enough. If I tell you that, hey, I want to have $1 billion by the time I'm 30, which I've told a lot of people who care to listen that by the time I'm 30, I'd have $1 billion. But the actual truth is by the time I'm 30, I'd have $5 billion. But I do say $1 billion. Now, if I tell someone, they say, oh man, you just dreaming. Okay. Watch me. That's it. Like when people talk and they say, oh fuck no, like you're just messing around and shit like that. I'm like, it's fine. No worries. You just watch me. Right? I know myself, right? And I know how much effort I've put to get to this point, right? So I trust more in myself than I ask that other people do. If you don't trust in me, I don't care. Like, if you don't trust in me, it's fine.
So you already have a strong mindset.
I've always believed in myself. If you don't believe in me, it's fine. I've always believed in myself. So, yeah, I'd say I have a strong mindset because I never really cared for what other people think of me. It's more about what do I think about myself. If I care about what I think, I really don't care about what anyone else thinks. Like, think whatever you want to think.
I like that. Now let's go back to a little bit. Being a shoemaker, doing the freelance. Can you share? That trajectory into getting to the freelance and then building the e-com business. How did that work? Talk to me about that story a little bit. Into the point where you even decided to sell the business and letting it go.
Okay, so I started out making shoes, and I only wanted to make shoes for myself because I have a big foot. And eventually people started making requests. They liked my designs. So I made shoes for people. But then I knew that, hey, I don't like this. I just do this. There's a difference between doing something because you find pleasure in it versus doing it because it is just a necessity, right? So I was making shoes because I have a big foot. I just need shoes to wear. It was just out of necessity. My mom could not really afford to buy my shoe size. She can't even find it if she was looking to buy. So I made that, and then I was making money from it and also saving the money that I was making because my mom kind of imbibed that habit in us that when you make, you don't, it's like in my language, you don't eat with all 10 fingers. So you make some, you keep some. And I had read a book called, I think it was Rules of Wealth or Richest Man in Babylon. Either of those two, I read it. And it's like, yeah, you have to keep some of whatever you make. And so how I started freelancing was I knew I don't want to sell my time for money, right? And I also knew I wanted to do something that was scalable, right? So when I think it was on one of the forums. Forums were popular back then on Facebook groups and shit like now. And so it was one of those warrior forums, internet marketing forums that I saw where a guy was talking about how you can make money online, especially as a freelancer. And I can say comfortably that I'm one of the first set of freelancers in the whole of Nigeria back then. And so I was using, I think it was Guru. Yeah, I won't forget. It was guru.com. I don't even know if that website is active anymore. Guru.com and then Fiverr. And it took a while before I landed my client, but the thing I was doing was whiteboard explainer videos. And I made explainer videos for marketers, and these people trusted me because I would always deliver on time. So there was a period in time where Fiverr and Upwork deplatformed Nigerians because, unlike now, then clients pay you ahead of time and then you deliver the service.
Oh, wow.
That was how it was. So people started taking jobs and then they will get paid.
Yeah, but they will not do the job.
Exactly. So people will get jobs and they wouldn't do the job and then they would just shut down the account.
Wow.
So people were committing mass fraud. And now, it's so annoying. I still remember, like yesterday, I was expecting $2,500. I made my first $50 online as a freelancer. And that was what I was just like, oh, bro, like, I'm never doing anything else again. I just want to make money online. So I was making money as a freelancer. But because I was expecting money, I was always working. It was literally the same thing. Like, you work for something, you get paid. And I felt like I was trading my time for money. But I wanted to have some more money so that I can do something else. So the first thing that happened was these platforms delisted Nigerians. And it was so annoying. It was so painful. And I remember I was coming from one of my lessons and I just checked my phone. I saw the notification via my email. You've been deplatformed. I'm like, fucking hell.
Wow.
But the good thing is I was already making money. I had some clients I had worked with and I had built trust. So I started working with those ones. And then I started using Facebook groups. So I'll go into Facebook groups and I'll look for, I need help with, I'm struggling with keywords like that shows someone needs help with something. And while I was learning explainer videos, I had also started learning marketing. So I was learning direct response marketing, that is how to write emails, how to write copy that elicits emotions and makes people buy. So I did that, and I started working with a few clients, but I knew this wasn't the end goal. So when I saw the video about how to make money by selling physical products online, I think I had freelanced for a year or 8 months before I went into e-com. So I had made money selling my time, but this was 2013.
Okay. So e-com was pretty early back then.
E-com has been around for a long period of time. There was a guy called Trey Lewellen who made $1 million in a day selling flashlights.
What? Really?
Yeah. I joined his mastermind. I saw that and I was just like, holy shit, like, yeah, this is it. Because the thing about it is, even right now I'm documenting how I'm taking my brand to $100 million. And the thing people don't understand is, if you can sell one thing to 100,000 people, sell it to 1 million people, I don't care whatever it is you sell, even if it has just $50 profit margins on it, right? If you can sell it to 1,000 people, you just made $50,000, right? If you sell it to 100,000 people, you just made $500,000. If you sell it to 10,000 people, you just made $500,000. If you sell it to 100,000 people, you just made what? $5 million. And the thing with that is, the economies of scale is there. Like, you can sell one thing round the clock, regardless of wherever anyone is in the world, right? And it doesn't require any extra effort from you other than delivering it to the person who needs it, right? So That's why I was just like, shit.
So you just took the e-com business and ran with it?
Yeah, because for me to make money with freelancing, I have to sell my time, right? I have to work for a certain amount of hours to deliver the gig, right? And if I don't work, I don't make money. With e-commerce, I can't be sleeping and someone from China can buy my stuff and it will be delivered to them, right? So I mean, my first $1 million I made when I was 19 years old.
Wow. You made $1 million at 19?
Yeah, my first $1 million in a day, my first $1 million in a month.
From e-commerce?
Yes.
Wow.
So I was just like, you know what, this is it for me. And I did that for a period of time and I just felt like, shit, this thing is not challenging. I can help anyone go from zero to $1 million. So I started creating content on Twitter in 2018. And that, it spiraled into a community real quick. And then I launched my course. I made $740,000 within 6 days because people were interested in it.
Wow.
Yeah, like the main reason I sold my 2 brands were because I got an offer I just couldn't turn down. It was I think it was the beginning of the pandemic. So I had 2 brands. One was for shorter men who were dating taller girls, and it adds a few extra inches to their height. So you get like an extra 3 inches. So if you're like 5'5", you can become 5'8" by just attaching it to your shoes. Then the second one is a shapewear, but for women who have body dysmorphia, like they don't like how they look after childbirth. So that it's like a shapewear product, and that's what the second brand was. Now, when I got the offer, it was the beginning of the pandemic, and I was just like, bro, I might as well take this money. This is 128 mil. Like, yeah, this is good money. And I've always built my brands. Even in my community that I have right now, I teach people that one of the things you need to have at the back of your mind is build this brand like you're going to sell it someday. Even if you won't sell it. But if you build it with the intention of, I might sell this brand someday, your books will be in check. That is, your numbers, your cash flow, you know everything down to a T. So when I got the offer, I was just like, yeah, I think I want this now. Like,
wow. So, and you were still in Nigeria?
No, I left Nigeria. I left Nigeria 2019. I went to Estonia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, walk me through you building that brand, these 2 brands to the point of selling, and the challenges you had to go through even before having that success of selling this off and taking that profit to start another project. What were some of the, challenges really that stood out during this process, really?
Well, the first challenge is I'm Nigerian. So I didn't build the brand with my face on it or anything. And that was actually something that, in hindsight, when I think about it now, it's an advantage.
Really?
Yeah. The fact that my face wasn't on it, the fact that I was young, I mean, I'm young, but the thing is, when I was building the brand, I couldn't have access to certain payment gateways. I got scammed in the beginning before I then incorporated my companies in the USA. So it was hard. Another big issue that we had to deal with was knowing that I don't have access to external funding or anything like that. It was cash based, right? That is, so if I make $1 million and I need to spend $1 million, I spend $1 million. Like, I don't have credit. I don't have anyone to give me any money anywhere.
So you get it and you blow it.
I get it, I spend it. That's the way it was. Like, unlike my foreign counterparts who are Americans, who have access to credit. So if you have a certain amount of money, you can apply for American Express, and you can spend money that you don't own, right? You can spend your money in advance. I got to learn of credit in 2020, right? I had sold my brands before I got to learn of anything called credit.
Wow.
And the only way I got to learn of credit was because I was in a clubhouse room at that point, and someone was talking about business credit. I'm like, what do you guys mean business credit? So you mean I can spend someone's money and without spending my own money? And they're like, yeah, like there's something called OPM, leveraging OPM.
You made $1 million before you realized that there's a credit that you could have used.
I made over $150 million before I knew anything called credit existed.
What? Is it? Let's talk about the upbringing in terms of educational system in Nigeria or Ghana or Africa. Why didn't that education system prepare us to know all these things that you just mentioned about?
The thing is, there are things that are created to systemize poverty. When you think about it, if everybody has access to this information, I mean, people who will be poor, but there's a reason there is the working class and the wealthy people, right? There's a reason that some people are taught that the only way to make money is to go to school, get a degree, get a job, and retire, right?
Which is not true.
Exactly. And then there are people who understand that for you to be wealthy, you just need to find the problem that people have and sell a solution to that problem, right? Now, that solution could be a digital product, it could be a physical product, right? It could be a service, but as long as you solve a very painful problem for a huge amount of people who are willing to pay you for it, then you're going to get money, right? So when it comes to finances, another thing is, I don't know who said this, but they say if you want to hide information from an African man, hide it in a book.
In a book. That's so true.
Most people don't read after school. And a man who doesn't read, a man who doesn't self-educate is going to perish.
I like that. Now, obviously, e-com business, as you said, has been in the industry for a long time, right? And then you beginning to identify a niche and a product to bring into the market. How did you maneuver your way through competition or even existing markets to make your brand even penetrate and even sell better than the existing brands?
There will always be competition in any space in human existence. There will always be competition. But Peter Drucker always says something that if you can make something easy, more efficient, or faster, right, then you can always make money in any space you're in. When you think of why Tesla is successful, it's because Tesla came in to bridge a gap between people who wanted high-end vehicles without the price tag of high-end vehicles, right? That is, people who wanted to be able to buy a car that can go from 0 to 60, 0 to 100 within a shorter time frame. But they don't want the price tag of a Ferrari or a price tag of a Lamborghini, right? And then Tesla also came with the self-driving thing, right? Cars already exist, but who thought, okay, cool, I can be going in my car and be sleeping in my car and my car will still get me to my destination safely, right? So that's one thing that I feel like everyone needs to understand. If you can make it easier, more comfortable, right, or faster, you just have to be innovative than every other person in the space. When I got into this space, I was competing with the likes of Spanx by Sarah Blakely. We started out around the same time. But then I also knew that if I want to sell something and I don't want it to be a commodity, I need to find a differentiating factor. So I marketed my products to a different audience entirely, right? I took it from, oh, let me sell this shapewear to every woman, to selling it to a subset of people who already have pressing needs and they are underserved. And I did that and I made my money.
Wow, demand and supply. Identify where the demand is and then you provide the supply. I like that. Can you speak on the key lessons and the insights you kind of identify in your early stages that really helped you on this trajectory? Some few insights, maybe two or three.
Number one is your circumstances don't really determine where you go in life. It is how you respond to those circumstances. I've had every situation or reason for me to say, oh, life is against me. But hey, if you have the mindset of life is against you and you do nothing, then shit, everything would happen against you. Exactly, right? And so I never saw myself as a victim. I always saw myself as, regardless of whatever happens, I will figure it out. Like, I don't care whatever happens, I'm going to always figure it out. And another thing that has always helped me is my self-belief. I've always believed a lot in myself, even when people don't. And you shouldn't feel bad because people don't believe in you. It's more like, if I don't believe in myself, how do I expect the world to believe in me, right? And belief is very, very contagious. If I get into this room right now and we're meeting for the first time, but I'm super hype, I'm like, yeah, this thing is about to be the best thing ever. You might look at me and be like, nah, I don't care or anything. But then if I keep telling you, bro, I'm serious, this thing is about to be the best thing ever, soon you will be curious, like, okay, what exactly is he talking about, right? And so you start paying attention. And then later you're like, oh shit, he actually meant it. Okay, fine, let me look at what this is about and see what's up, right? That's one thing. Another thing that has always helped me is I'm very, very curious.
Curious?
Yeah, I'm very curious. Like, I may not know something, but I'll do my findings, I'll do my research. And once I know that, okay, I have 1% belief that this thing is going to work, I don't care if the 99% is saying that this won't work. Once I have that 1%, I'll keep swinging. And it ends up working because while everyone has quit by trying it 99 times, I am still digging at that 1%. Like, I feel like this thing may work. It may work. It may not happen as soon as every other person expects, but bro, trust me, it would happen someday. And when it does, I'll look at everyone and be like, I told you.
I like that confidence. So, now, how is I think I saw a post on your Instagram about how relationships are very important. How would you say you building your relationship and even your network has contributed greatly, or would you say it has contributed greatly to your business or who you are as a person right now?
Yeah, so I would say in the beginning I used to be a lone wolf. Like, I don't give a shit about nobody. I just want to do my own thing. But the older I grew, the more I got to know that you can't do everything alone. Even in business, from 0 to 6 figures, you can figure it out yourself. 6 to 7 figures, you need to become a better leader at, delegating and assigning things. 7 to 8 figures, you need people. Like, you need to know the right people. You need to have the right skill sets to say, okay, fine, I'm going from being the leader to becoming someone who manages other leaders, right? And even in personal life, like, I've learned a lot when there's someone I met last year, and I'm glad I did meet him. I started creating content a lot more actively last year and on Instagram. So one of my videos went viral, and someone saw that video. So I did a live on IG, which reminds me I still need to do IG lives again. But I did my live on IG, and the guy was like, "Yeah, man, I saw your video. It's dope. There's someone I want you to meet." And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't really like meeting people offline. And he's just like, you should meet someone. So I'm like, cool, no worries. So he sends me a message, and he's like, yeah, bro, like I have someone who's in Dubai right now. I'd like you to meet him. I feel like you guys can do stuff together. He's my friend. And I was like, okay, fine, no worries. And then I meet the guy, and boy, trust me, it's been one of the best decisions of my life, connecting with that dude. And I'm just like, shit. If it was younger version of me, I probably would have ignored this.
Wow.
We've done business together. We are still going to make money together. He's invested into our relationship. Like, it's just super dope.
I like that.
Even one of the things that I wish I did in the beginning was document more of, how I'm building my brands and all of that. It would have allowed me connect with more people. So yeah, like building relationships, it's super important. If there's anything that I can say someone should do outside of, learning business skills and all of that, if you learn how to build the right relationships, you will go very far in life.
This has been an amazing conversation. And if you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to like the video, share to friends and family, comment down below. And let's get it going. We want to interview 100 entrepreneurs. So what I need you to do to help, what I need you guys to do to help is, if you know any millionaire, just tell them, I want to interview them, slide into their DM, go spam their comment section, tell them that, listen, Hayford want to have a conversation with them on how they first made their $1 million. And this is just an episode. We do have several episodes that we filmed that is on the way. So tell your favorite entrepreneur, a favorite millionaire, that he needs to come on Webnation Africa to tell his story. And because I would already be in their DM, so just go down their Instagram page, comment down, listen, check your DM, Hayford want to interview you. Let's put the word out there. And yes, guys, thank you so much for watching this. It means a lot to me. And subscribe. Stay tuned for more amazing episodes coming. And this interview is cut short. Do you know why? Because we are giving you the teaser. We're actually going to Dubai in person to have a conversation with him, to sit down face to face, to have a dialogue like we usually do on our channel. So the virtual, it's amazing and all that, but sitting face to face with him would even make it better. So stay tuned, like, share, and subscribe, so that when we drop the face to face with him, you don't miss out. Without further ado, all right, peace out.